Hello and welcome back to Show Summary. Today I'm going to show you Arrival, a 2016 sci-fi drama film. There will be spoilers ahead. Take precautions and use caution. A woman's voice narrates while a magnificent view from a lake home is seen, lamenting about memory and time. The same woman, Louise, is snuggling with her newborn child. Then she plays cowboys with a somewhat older youngster. She's putting her daughter into bed while saying she loves her, and then she's a teenager stating she hates her. Louise receives devastating news regarding her child as the two of them are visiting the doctor. Cancer kills the daughter. Louise is heading into a building, still lecturing about the simplicity of linear time, noting how particular days, such as the day the aliens arrived, define the larger plot. Everyone in the building is gathered around a screen, but she walks right by them. She enters her nearly empty classroom and begins her speech. Phones begin buzzing and calling immediately, until one of her classmates requests that she turn on. They are reporting a mystery object touching down in Montana, as well as in at least 8 other nations worldwide. Alarms begin to sound throughout the classroom, and Louise terminates the lesson. In her automobile, Louise continues to listen to the news. The now 12 objects are thought to be of alien origin. She arrives at her lakeside house, on the phone with her mother, to discuss the news. Her mother is concerned for her. Louise continues to watch the news. The items are shown on television, scattered over the world with no clear relationship between the sites where they have fallen. Government authorities claim to have systems in place for such cases, but Louise appears unconcerned by the situation and falls asleep in front of the television. Louise returns to an empty university 2 days later, so she continues to monitor the news from her office. While she is listening to stories on the world's reaction to the extraterrestrial UFO, a guy enters her office and introduces himself as an Army colonel. Given her past expertise translating for Army intelligence and her continued security clearance, he asks her to interpret something for them again and places a recorder on the desk. The video shows a human team attempting to interact with the aliens. She's stunned and perplexed, but the colonel presses her with questions she can't answer from an audio file. He becomes enraged and refuses to take her to Montana. Either translate from the file or do nothing. He exits her office when she says nothing. However, Louise is awakened that night by the sound of helicopters approaching her home. The colonel has arrived at her home, asking her to gather her belongings. They go off in the middle of the night in a helicopter. Inside, she meets Ian, a theoretical physicist with whom she will be working. He recounts some of her linguistic literature and remarks that science, not language, is the foundation of civilization. The chopper is coming closer to Montana as the sun rises. Louise glances out the windows and notices the massive UFO in the distance. Her and Ian must follow particular procedures once they arrive at the Army camp. On the route to medical, their phones are confiscated and they are handed special identification. The doctor runs a few tests on them and administers an immunization booster. Following that, they are transferred to the main area of the camp, where connections with the other 12 nations have been created. The Australian delegate outlines a dilemma with gravity and air circulation in the vessel, stating that they only have 2 hours of air once inside. The colonel enters and leads the two of them to their stations, introducing them to their teams and outlining the mission's priorities. Following that, they are donning hazmat suits and prepared to board the ship. Louise becomes nauseated as they approach it, while Ian appears eager. The Army trucks approach the ship, which appears massive from below. An elevator transports Ian, Louise, the colonel, and a few others onto the spacecraft. They pass through an aperture at the bottom when the radio signal fades. The gravity inside the spacecraft is drastically different, and as they go up, Louise begins to feel nauseous, so the colonel pushes her in. Ian, too, takes a time to adjust to the gravity. To begin the conversation, the team walks near the window opening. The aliens appear at the window in a puff of what appears to be smoke. As they materialize, strange sounds can be heard from the other side. Louise is terrified when she sees the massive heptapod monsters, but the colonel wants her to begin interpreting what appears to be chatter from the other side. When the squad arrives back to the base, Louise asks whether she's been fired, while Ian vomits on the other side. The colonel warns her that she just has a few hours to find something out before they return. A few troops watch the news, which reports that global hysteria has reached unprecedented heights. Meanwhile, Agent Halpern is speaking with Australia's team again, informing them that they still need Louise and her team to return inside, and that she has brought a whiteboard with her this time. She puts down the word human and approaches the animals, believing that written communication will be simpler. Suddenly, the aliens vanish, and when they re-emerge, they begin writing in their native language. They show her one sign, then several more. Back at the camp, the colonel questions if her new strategy would be fast enough, and she persuades him by inventing a narrative about the Aborigines. He responds by reminding her of what happened to them when Europeans occupied the continent. He also instructs her to prepare a vocabulary list for the upcoming expedition. Louise walks up to the main communications area of the base, where Ian is conversing with a colleague. Agent Halpern informs her that China has taken a far different approach to the aliens than they have. When the colonel arrives, she hands him her list. He's not pleased by the brevity of the list, so she explains it to him by putting the most crucial question he needs answered on the board. Louise breaks down the inquiry and what she needs to know to comprehend their response. The alarm goes off, and he orders her not to add anything to her list. Once inside, she puts down her name, and the aliens react with the first, slightly changed sign. Louise removes her outfit, stating that they need to see her. The troops are terrified, yet they let her do it. The aliens approach the window as she does. She taps the window, and the alien does the same, so she repeats her name, and one of them hands her a new sign. Louise believes she is making improvements. So Ian removes his suit and introduces himself. In exchange, the aliens give them 2 additional symbols, which Louise interprets as their names. When the squad returns to the base camp, she becomes ill, recalling something about the child. Back at medical, the doctor is irritated that she is putting herself in danger by removing her suit. Given her development, the colonel and Agent Halpern are willing to take that chance. Meanwhile, Captain Marks confides in his wife, fearful that anything would happen to him. Louise is hard at work on her translation. When she recalls the youngster again, she appears perplexed. This is what Louise, Ian, and the other specialists discovered many months after they began communicating with the aliens. There is no trash, gas, radiation, sound, or light emitted by the extraterrestrial ships. Humans cannot detect any communication between the ships. The specialists are still puzzled as to why the heptapods landed where they did. Louise is the only one making progress. She discovers that there is no connection between what the aliens say and what they write. As a result, their writing is time-free, with no forward or backward movement. It takes Louise a month to respond to a simple statement written by the aliens, so answering the complicated question regarding why they are on Earth would take even longer. Meanwhile, the rest of the world is going nuts. As a leaked image of the aliens goes viral, the press is reporting violent riots and large demonstrations. Captain Marks and another soldier begin listening to conspiracy theories online and appear to believe them. Louise is working on the symbol translation. As she begins to recall the child is showing her some drawings she's drawn while they discuss Louise's divorce. Ian asks whether she's all right, but she can't articulate what's wrong. The colonel enters and inquires as to when she last saw the doctor. Louise walks outdoors and recalls tangled-up periods in time with the kid, from when she was a youngster until when she became ill. She's back at the base, chatting to Ian. He's read about a notion that claims learning another language alters your thinking. He wants to know if she dreams in their language. As she hallucinates a heptapod standing next to her in the room, she is terrified that Ian believes she is unqualified for the position. The colonel is at the door when she wakes up the next day. He requests that she interpret a live stream of General Shang over the phone. Shang claims that each of the 12 offers cutting-edge technology and that his team is deciphering the sets. The colonel informs Louise that both China and Russia are mobilizing their armies and are preparing to launch an offensive. So he informs her that it's time to ask the big question to the aliens. Louise, Ian and the crew have returned to the ship. She attempts to pose the topic and create a sign. The alien responds. Everyone is waiting for her translation, which turns out to be a weapon translation. Back at the camp, Louise and Ian defend the aliens, claiming that they don't yet comprehend the difference between a weapon and a tool. The colonel asks how he can comprehend their goals, and she replies she has to speak with them again. After the army departs, Agent Halpern joins Ian and Louise, stating that he believes the aliens are putting humans against one another and that history is riddled with similar examples. Louise and Ian are alone in the room when an alarm goes off. They proceed to the main communications room, where Agent Halpern informs them that China and Russia have gone black, and he has instructions to follow suit. Louise does not want the contact to end, so he instructs her to research the latest sign. All of the other countries have also broken communication. Meanwhile, the news is saying that General Shang has requested emergency UN negotiations, believing that aliens are attempting to split mankind and that something should be done about it. Captain Marks and another soldier are preparing to board the ship and take a parcel with them. They're not reacting to the radio because they've been told to stop. Once inside, the gift reveals itself to be a signal to prevent the aliens from entering the spacecraft. Something is going on in the shipyards. Louise and Ian board the lift to go inside the ship as Marks and his colleagues leave. He attempts but fails to stop them. They both walk inside and instantly begin conversing. The colonel is notified that Marks has not responded and orders security to be dispatched to the ship. When Louise and Ian ask the aliens what the offer weapon means, they get a symbol back, but as it fades, one of the aliens begins pounding on the window. Meanwhile, security is closing in on the ship, and Marks and the others are preparing their weapons to repel them. Louise believes the alien wants her to write on the barrier after he places his tentacle on it. The instant she reaches the barrier, visions of the kid begin to fill her head once more. She learns to write in their language from the extraterrestrial. The bomb is ticking away, and one of the aliens flees as the other continues to write. Outside the ship, they hear gunfire. As the bomb approaches the 10-second mark, the alien collides with the barrier, driving Louise and Ian back. The bomb detonates, but the alien saves them by directing them to another area of the ship and sealing a hatch between them and the blast. Louise awakens with a concussion in the camp. Ian is also doing well. The doctor informs her of what occurred. When she hears alarms outside, he informs her that they are ready to leave. Ian and the colonel are going over the footage from the last session on the ship. When she enters and declares that they should not go, she believes they should explain what occurred to the aliens and that they should remain as long as the aliens do. Strange sounds were heard from outside. Everyone comes out and notices the ship shifting into a new location but not quite departing. Agent Halpern is shown conversing with his supervisor, who informs him that China is poised to destroy their UFO and that they should brace themselves for extraterrestrial reprisal. The same may be seen in the news, with reports that Shang has ordered the aliens 24 hours to depart or face being destroyed. Other countries are expected to follow China's lead. Louise and Ian are going over the film from the previous session. She has another vision of her daughter asking about a technical phrase she can't remember, but she wakes up in the basement again. Ian has made a significant breakthrough with the data. His view is that the data only reveals one of the 12 parts. Both deliver the information at a meeting with the colonel and the FBI agent, stating that the 12 countries must collaborate to obtain the whole picture. Halpern, on the other hand, claims that the Russians murdered their senior scientist, whose last words featured the phrase, "Many become one." Louise believes it is the same as what they have studied. In a non-zero-sum game, Ian suggests that they share their facts first so that the others will follow. In another vision, Louise recalls that the phrase her daughter requested was the same one she requested. She immediately exits the room after having a revelation regarding the aliens. Ian pursues her and notices that the ship has dispatched a shuttle to pick her up on the ground. Louise climbs inside, and as it begins to transport her back to the ship, it is filled with some type of gas. She finds herself inside the ship, on the opposite side of the window. When she inquires about the other alien, one of the aliens approaches her and they quickly begin speaking. It informs her that the other is dying. She apologizes and says she needs it to send a message to the other 12 sites. It just responds with, "Use weapon," but she has no idea what it implies and asks again what their goal is here. The extraterrestrial informs her that they will want humanity's assistance in 3,000 years, therefore they have come to assist us now. In response to her query on how they foresee the future, images of her daughter resurface in her imagination. She is still perplexed, so the alien shows her more of the vision, which is truly her destiny. Before departing, the alien states, "Weapon opens time." The spacecraft returns to its original location after dropping Louise back to the Earth. Ian and the Colonel greet her and inform her that other countries are doing the same as China and are evacuating the camp. She continues to see glimpses of her future daughter, who inquires about her father once more. Louise informs her that she told him something he wasn't prepared to hear about, something that would happen as a result of an incurable condition. Louise's father thinks she made the wrong decision. As troops from several countries prepare to attack them, all ships throughout the world begin to move. Louise alternates between the present, the camp, and the future with her daughter. In the future, she opens the book she wrote, while in the present, she examines the alien data. The alien tongue is the subject of the novel. She sees herself teaching it in the future and remembers it in the present. She suddenly realizes she can interpret the data. She is aware of the weapon. And she informs the Colonel that it is a present. The foreign tongue is a blessing. She argues that when you truly learn a language, you begin to think in non-linear time. The Colonel refuses to listen to her. She has a different view of what will happen in 18 months. General Shang approaches Louise at an international celebration. The only reason he's there is to finally meet her. She had accomplished something great by calling him on his personal phone line and changed his opinion about things. Louise claims she does not have his personal phone number. So he presents it to her and tells her, "Now you know." She remembers it in the present and dashes out to contact the general. Meanwhile, Agent Halpern has been informed that someone is phoning China from the camp using his personal phone. He sent his guys to find the individual who is utilizing it. Louise is waiting for the phone call and is unsure what to say. Shang tells her what she said to him in the future, and she repeats it to him over the phone in the present while fleeing Halpern's men. They all round her as she attempts to reason with the general. As she ends her talk, Ian protects her, claiming she has it. Later in the present, the news reports on an emergency press conference conducted by General Shang, claiming that China is stepping down and would begin sharing all of their intelligence with the other alien spacecraft from across the world. Her daughter's narrative actually begins when the aliens depart Earth. Ian and Louise marry, and they have Hannah together. Louise is left with the impression of Hannah's life and untimely death. Everything she had been seeing about the future came together. She chooses to have the kid anyhow. Make sure to subscribe and enable alerts to see more videos like this. Thank you for taking the time to watch.